So in today's video, we're going to go through the 4 tips that you can employ when you're going through basic training to make your experience of training even more enjoyable and that much easier for you. Okay. One thing that you need to take into consideration is, yes, while it is a team effort, you are all being graded individually on your skills and ability and competence to determine whether you will be a good fit for the military. All right. And this aspect that we're going to go into is based on your ability to read into and pay attention to detail. Right? This is especially fundamental to, creating tasks, to executing tasks, and even just normal day-to-day life, because this will ensure that you complete your tasks and coordinate yourself to the highest standard. All right, the military loves to have exceedingly high levels of attention to detail because it provides the structure to a well-trained individual. Okay, and mix that in with routine, it's going to make you very formidable. So the first tip that we're going to go into, all right, that's going to help you pay attention to detail is when you're doing your chores, make sure that you spend a little extra time on them. Okay, this can be something like when you're washing the dishes, for example. If you don't wash the dishes in your house, I suggest you start doing it. Okay, you need to make sure that you are completely immersed and present in each of these tasks. Okay, this actually goes for everything else that I'm about to talk about in the video. When you're washing your dishes, for example, I know it sounds silly, but spend a little bit more time just being present with what you're doing. All right, let the water run through, ensure that the water is hot. Hot water helps degrease any of the oils or substances or lubricants that are on your plate or dish or whatever it is. Okay, it also helps steam it up a bit and lifts the dirt off the surface of the cutlery or whatever you're doing. Okay, I know it sounds a bit silly that I'm essentially teaching you or talking you through the mechanics of how to wash a dish, but you'd be surprised as to how crazy, like almost like psychopathic, the directing staff will get when it comes to inspecting your equipment. Okay, so you just bear with me here. All right, so when you're doing this, okay, make sure you've got hot water running, okay, and you've got enough soapy water to fully lather up the dish or whatever it is, and then make sure you're scrubbing the top layer and the bottom layer, right? So the top and the bottom of the plate, and then you're going to make sure that you're completely running water around so that there are no watermarks left over, and then you're going to dry it off with your dishcloth or whatever it is that you've got there. All right. The second tip is when it comes to cleaning, paying attention to the type of cleaning that you're doing. So if you're sweeping the floor and if you're sweeping an area that a lot of people have been traveling on, what might be a good idea depending on the surface, if it's wooden or even like that sort of laminated plasticky type of surface, you know what I'm talking about. You see it in like hospital floors, etc. Okay, what you'd notice with the sanitation departments there is that they sweep the area. All right, they sweep it clean of dirt and grit first and any loose particles that are there, and then they soap it. And they soap this with a mop and bucket. Okay, you need to make sure that it's completely lathered up, and so that helps strip away the top layer of residual dirt that sticks once the loose particles have been swept away. Okay, and then if necessary, make sure that again you are sweeping over that area with like an indoor brush or a broom or whatever it is. This will be much more apparent when you're actually in the barracks and you're doing cleaning details, because trust me, you're going to do a lot of them. So if you can get ahead and start doing some of these things now, it'll only give you more and more of a strength, and even your peers will look up to you and see, okay, this is a guy that knows what he is doing. Okay, he or she is doing, all right? They know how to clean, they know how to conduct this activity, and it's just going to make you more efficient. All right, you might find that you are put in a position of leadership later on down the line. All right, the next step is when you are shining. Okay, make sure that you're using a clean cloth, right, to shine the metal, or more specifically, actually, when it comes to shoe shining. Okay, that's a skill that you should learn, and a skill that I would say is actually essential, just both in and out of the military. Okay, learn how to shine shoes. All right, learn first of all what sort of leather you're using, whether it's black or brown. Okay, and what I would recommend is that you have 2 different types of brushes. Okay, you're gonna have one brush which is an on brush and one which is an off brush. I will link in the description a couple of brushes, the cheap brushes that you can find on Amazon, and I'm sure depending on which part of the world you're in, you can find something like this. Okay, they're made of tough horsehair. Okay, and you're going to use one specifically to use as your on polish brush. So you're going to cake that in shoe polish. You're going to cake that in shoe polish, and that's what you're going to use to cover your entire shoe. And then you're going to use the other brush to just very gently stroke over it. Okay, you're going to be rubbing the brush over it and basically buffing the polish into the leather and taking any sort of residual polish off. Then you're going to use a cloth, and I might actually make a video, on how to shine shoes. I think that's going to be something I'm going to make in the next video, but I'll just explain it very quickly here. Okay, so you're going to use a cloth to just very quickly run over the polish. All right, usually you combine this with some hot water. There are various different techniques on how to polish shoes and also polish your boots, right? But you want to basically learn how to shine your shoes and shine boots to a high standard. Okay, because a fundamental part of soldiering is to be a well-dressed, smart, well-turned-out individual. And the last point that I would say that you need to learn is how to iron your clothes. Okay, if your mom is doing this for you right now, maybe this is the time to start experimenting with taking ownership of ironing your own clothes. Firstly, invest in a good iron. There are a lot of different iron brands out there, but my personal favorite is the Russell Hobbs, because it has a like a jet powered steam function, which is amazing for loosening and also ironing in creases. Okay, I'll also get a link of that in the description. I mean, you can find all of the stuff on Amazon anyways, but nevertheless, I'll make sure that that's there so you have some material to refer to. So with ironing, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward process, but even with that, it's a skill that you really want to get under your belt, because it's just going to help you in the long term. Okay, and these skills over here, guys, I mean, they are functional for the military, but they're also functional for real life. Whether you plan on living alone, whether you have a partner, or if you're just living in communal living, it's all like community based skills. Okay, that's one thing that you'll realize about the skill sets that you'll learn at the base minimum when it comes to living and accommodation. Okay, this is to ensure a high standard of living and a high level of cleanliness, right? Well, the military is all about that. Okay, so those are a few points and tips on just how to increase your efficacy when it comes to your training in the military. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.